engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. I'm Isaac Hernandez here with my co-host, Holly McClure, Holly, you have a very wonderful interview on today's show.
I do. It's unique, Isaac. And he's a friend of ours, Tracy Trost. He's been, trying to be a guest for years. He's done different movies and productions. He's a producer, director, but he's got a reality show that's real. It really is real. It's called Mercy Ships, and Angel Studios is carrying it. But I also flipped around the TV the other night and saw it on there. So everyone needs to tune in and watch this. It's an amazing series on real healings, real doctors that are working with people who can't afford it and can't get care. And the miraculous stories, the things that happen on this ship are more interesting than the reality TV shows. So let's take a look at the trailer.
Okay, but now you say that this one is real versus, I guess, other reality shows, because really the other reality shows are really kind of scripted out, aren't they?
They're scripted. They're not real. They're not. And there's not real, they're all drama that's fake. But this one, you actually see things on the ship. It's so thrilling and heartwarming and touches your heart. You're so glad there's people there like Tracy has on those ships, the doctors and hundreds of people who are giving up their life and time to heal people and help people. So again, folks, take a look. It's exciting when you watch it, and you're going to love the show.
Let's take a look at the trailer.
This summer, Angel Studios invites you to come aboard the world's largest civilian-run hospital ships to meet the team of international volunteers who are living their faith and healing those in need.
We all feel God's calling to come and help anyone that we can. We want to try and make the world a better place.
Witness the tears and triumphs.
When Mercy Ships sails in, we really do see hope again reignite in people's eyes as we look at them and show them Jesus' love.
Come and join these everyday heroes on board the Mercy Ships.
There's no other ship in the world that has a cargo of hope and healing.
Begin watching for free now on Angel.
Tracy, welcome to Faith on Film. It's good to finally have you on the show.
It's honestly great to be on. Like I said, I've given Isaac a hard time over the years. I've known that guy for a long time. He's never let me on the show. So it's good to finally be on the show. And it's even better to be on with you.
Well, thank you. And it's great to have you on featuring this amazing series that you have that's coming out. In fact, Angel Studios is promoting it, which couldn't have a better person behind you or company behind you promoting Mercy Ships. And it's a series. How many episodes are in this?
So season 1, which we shot in 2024, is 10 episodes. And I'm actually on the Africa Mercy, one of the ships in their fleet. And we're filming season 2 right now. So we're pretty excited about that because season 1 debuts June 18th on Angel. And then, of course, it'll be spread out after that through different, video on demand platforms and eventually broadcast. But we're getting a jump on it. So season 2 can be ready a year from now.
First of all, congratulations. I'm excited that you're going to have season 1 done, and now you're doing season 2. You're on the ship. Explain, you have 2 ships now, right? And this is Mercy Ships has been going on for like 40 years. But
yeah, they're celebrating 50 years here coming up in just a little bit.
Wow. Okay. Well, when did you decide to film this and document it like this? And I watched it. It's a lot of filming, Tracy. I mean,
It's so there's 2 ships, one in the one I'm on currently in Madagascar, and then another one called the Global Mercy, which is in Sierra Leone currently. And we spent about 4 weeks. So I'll be here till July 7th. So I'm just my first week here right now. And we do about 4 weeks of filming. When we came back after the trips last year, because I film it with multiple teams. So there's 3 different filming teams because we cover about 27 stories on each location. And to get, basically about 4.5 hours of total cut footage, on 10 episodes, about 30 minutes or so a piece. And so when we came back, we had about 300 hours of footage because all, the multiple amount of cameras that we have on location, plus the interview setups and all that. So it's a lot to go through. That's why it took, almost a year to get through and produce the 10 episodes.
I mean, it's a lot of footage. As I'm watching this and knowing how I've done behind the scenes for films and stuff, and I'm thinking, you gotta have how many people did you have on crews? Did you have like you said,
About 12. Yeah, about 12 total with DIT and the camera crews. You think about it, I mean, if the average movie is 90 minutes, we basically in a year's time created 2.5 movies.
Yes, yes. And
That's all set.
and these are stories that aren't just on the ship. You're going off the ship and going to people's homes and going to villages, and I mean, so there's it's a lot of location as well.
Yeah, we're all over the place. And the thing is in Madagascar here, because the roads are so bad, it takes forever to drive anywhere. So I drove the equivalent of like going from Tulsa to Oklahoma City, which is about 90 miles. And at home, that's an hour, a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Here in Madagascar, it took us 9 hours to go 90 miles because it's so bad. Yeah, it's not the good old US of A. But so you have to take all that into effect when you're going to do that. So, Holly, you watched the show, so you saw the story about Vivid Sarah, the woman who had the goiter removed.
The goiter. Yes.
Yep, and she went home because in the cultures here in Africa, because it is kind of a spiritual culture, sometimes when a person has a physical deformity of some sort, like a goiter on their neck or something, many times the belief is that they've done something wrong or their family members done something wrong or they're cursed or something. So many times they get outcast during that. And so it's like before she came to Mercy Ships to get her operation, she was pretty much an outcast in her village. And then Mercy Ships came and she came to one of the, basically it's kind of a screening clinic, and was told they could help her, and she came to the ship, got her operation. Then she went home, and this story's, of course, in the series. I probably shouldn't give it all away. I'm kind of rude.
No, that's okay. It makes it fun for people to look for it.
It's still worth seeing, right? Then she got home, and of course, she met someone, and she ended up getting married. So we kind of chronicle that story with one of the volunteers here on the ship who became friends with her, and he actually gets to go, take part in her wedding. It's pretty great.
And he got to be the photographer for her, which, I mean,
Yes.
that's unusual. And in fact, it was like she didn't even want to get her, what we would call a driver's license or paper documentation, because she didn't want to acknowledge it on her neck. I mean, that's how deeply it resonated with her and the culture, like you say, which, touching. This will touch people on all different levels because everyone's had something where you maybe kind of don't want people to see or know about. I mean, it has layers of emotional and spiritual healing. How many
Yeah.
people are on the crew on these ships? Because
Boy.
big ship and a lot of people.
Yeah, so the Global Mercy is quite a bit bigger, and it's gonna be hard to. I know I've been told these numbers. I want to say it's like 400 crew, and then another 200 and something day crew. And day crew is people who live in the country and come in and off the ship on a daily basis. The volunteer crew are people who've committed to a certain amount of time to work on the ship. And I think one of the important things for people to understand, because when you hear the word Mercy Ships, you think of doctors, nurses, therapists, but it's like a floating city. So you need engineers and plumbers and electricians and HR and chaplaincy. So my wife came with me to visit the ship one time, and she, for the longest time, was a hairdresser. And there's a little hair salon on the ship, and she got there, and currently at that time they didn't have a person cutting hair, so she volunteered for a couple afternoons and just loved it. So it takes all kinds of people. I mean, there's a coffee shop on the ship. You need baristas, So if you want to serve God, and the ultimate goal is that the work you're doing is somehow going to change lives, there's no better place than Mercy Ships, because everything you do, even if you're a barista or HR, it's helping accommodate these surgeries that are happening and honestly giving people lives that they did not have before.
Yes. I mean, and everywhere from the captain down to the barista. I mean, and the photographer and then the crew. I mean, really, it's a lot of different levels. How do you? I'm curious. So when you went to the ships and said, "Okay, I want to be filming," are you? Is it just in port? Are you on the ship then for several months, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the ship does a service about 10 months, and because it is a ship, it has to have annual certifications and upgrades and maintenance done to it. So every year for 2 months, it goes to another port.
Oh,
Sometimes it's Tenerife, sometimes it's a different one. I remember the one it's going to next, and it has to have all this maintenance done to it. So they come into a port for about 10 months. It can vary, but about 10 months. And when the ship gets there, the advanced team's already been in the country and already done a lot of setup and a lot of screening. So they've got their list of people that are going to come in and get this done. Now, part of Mercy Ships' program beyond that is there's a facility on land called the Hope Center. And the one here, I think, has about 260 beds. And so people will come there first. It's kind of like you get your appointment set, you come to the ship, you get your screening, you get your stuff done, if you get an operation, and then that's a recovery place then that they go to for recovery and before they go home. So it's a pretty big setup, and there's a lot of moving parts. It's pretty interesting. And that's one of the things I think the show really displays. And people ask me, why did I decide or want to do this show? And I've worked with Mercy Ships for quite a long time. It was mostly on their fundraising side, the 2-minute commercials you see on TV, or the PSAs, the 30-second or 1-minute PSAs. And one thing that we realized, if you look at how Mercy Ships had grown in the past, they do their fundraising stuff and they do the recruitment commercials and such, but it came through like 60 Minutes to the article on them years ago. And so many people saw that, and it wasn't here's who we are, please help us. It was, here's who we are, and kind of celebrate with us. And so I believe as things are changing in the industry, especially for fundraising and awareness, entertainment is the way to go, quite
it
honestly.
is.
So,
It really is. And to get the
yeah.
stories out.
Yeah. So I was on the ship filming something else and started talking to some of these volunteers, and it was like, gosh, this could be a reality show. And so we put together the treatment and kind of talked with them, and they said, let's do this thing.
What was one or two of your favorite stories? Because there's how many episodes did you say? 8?
Here,
6.
10 episodes total.
Goodness.
It's funny.
1 or 2?
I could normally just pop something up, but when you ask me the question, all of a sudden I go blank. So let me think about it. David Sarah's stories is great.
Because there's children too. And what doesn't touch your heart than to see a child that's going through something and then be healed. I love how that was said on the ship. The doctors love to see when kids can't walk and they can't even, walk onto the ship, and to see them kicking the ball in the quarters and playing. And it's about hope, isn't it? The stories are about hope,
Totally.
faith, and
Well, their motto is to follow the 2,000-year-old model of Jesus to bring hope and healing to the world's forgotten poor. That's the Mercy Ship's motto. Let me tell you about a story that we're doing this year that, because it's fresh, so I can tell you this one. There's a little girl, Anjara, who had cataracts, and it's pretty common in this country. Cataracts and cleft, it seems to be a pretty common thing. So she couldn't really see. She's young, I think 5 or 6 years old. So because of course, she wasn't able to be educated, and again, kind of toward that outcast kind of thing. Came to Mercy Ships. Cataract surgeries really aren't a super difficult thing and don't take a lot of time. So she quickly was worked on, and it didn't seem like it was working out like it took effect. And she got home, and then her sight got better, and eventually she was seeing really well, and came back because she was in a village in the country. She came back for an appointment, and her eyesight was great. Well, the Hope Center feeds, like, say, 300 some odd people a day, and her mom was trying to find work. So one of the volunteers here who works in the communications department, his wife is in charge of the food at the Hope Center. So they gave the mom a job so the little girl could stay in the city here. And because of that, then she was able to attend school. So it's the long lasting effect that I think is so cool about the stories that we tell, because this little girl really didn't have much of a future. Now she can see, and now she's being educated, and now her mom has a job and actually can have a living and a life.
I love that. I love that. And think of the impact that she and her mother, but especially that little girl, will make as she grows older, change their lives, and will reach out to so many others who need and want the same thing. The ship primarily is off the coast of Africa. I know Sierra Leone was one of the cities, and you said you're in Madagascar. So,
What
as
we
been
did is because 90% of you can reach, I think 90% of the population through the coastal cities. And so that's kind of Don Stevens' plan or vision, was to have ships that could go into these coastal ports and, reach the people that way.
I just have to ask you, do you like storyboard? I mean, how do you plan out these shows? Because there's a lot of, like you said, it takes a year to, there's a lot of clips and cuts. How do you plan? And then you recreate some things, don't you? You
A
recreate.
little bit. Well, so for example, the cleaning out the port. So when the ships are in port, the engines are running, they supply their own electricity. And so they have to suck in water into the ship to cool the ship. But in Sierra Leone, unfortunately, the water is very polluted. There's a lot of plastic. They don't really have a garbage system there. So people just throw their garbage into the rivers. The rivers wash away into the ocean, but then it gets sucked up into the ship. So the team had to devise a way to create these kind of covers on the intakes. So they have a dive team that actually dives and places these intakes over the holes. And so that was a bit of a recreation, because they'd already kind of figured out what it was, but I wanted to tell that story as like, okay, here's a problem. How do we find a solution for it? And it's just interesting, the diving and I mean, you saw it. So it's sad to see all the trash that's in the water there.
I was shocked, quite frankly. It's like, oh, wow, that people live like that, and it's a,
It's sad. But you were asked about storyboarding. So we'll do, the process is kind of, we'll do about 35 or so pre-interviews when I'm still back in the States.
Mhm.
And I basically create this list of, here's possible storylines or story ideas. Is there anybody that could fit in something like that? Send that to the team here. The team here then says, okay, they start lining up interviews. So like in a week and a half's time, we did 35, about hour-long interviews. And you get to meet the people, get their story. Who are they? What do they do? Why are they doing what they do? And what's something else that is unique about them? And you saw that. It's like kind of like Dika and Roximo creating the music, the song, but then also recording that song with the kids from the blind school, right? And so they start talking about these things, and that, of course, sparks my interest. Like, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe we can create a storyline that goes along there. So then we narrow it down after that, from that 35 to about 25. And then after that, narrowed down, I think I'm looking at the wall here. I've got 41 beats. I've got about 28 characters in this season, 41 beats. So about 22 storylines that we're
Wow.
telling. That's just half of it, because half of the season's in Madagascar and half of the season's in Sierra Leone.
Oh my gosh. Well, and you know, as far as being a director, a writer, producer, doing what you're doing here, how has this affected your faith, Tracy? How has it affected you as and your Christian walk?
That's a really good question, because it has. I remember the first time I went out of the country on a missions trip in 1992. I was 28 years old. It was a long time ago. And I remember we went to India, and I was filming an event, an open air crusade with an evangelist named T.L. Osborne. This is really going to date me. It was a long time ago. And we had about 200. Do you remember T.L. and Dave?
I love that man. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we had about 250,000 people show up in these soccer fields. And I saw, how can I say, I saw God moving away that I'd never experienced in the U.S. I saw when TL said, who here wants to receive Jesus as Lord? And all the hands going up. It was like a wave of heat that came across the audience and hit. I was up on the stage filming the audience. And I remember that hitting me like this. I don't know if I call it a Holy Spirit heat. I just started like weeping. I'm trying to film, and my eyepiece is fogged up. I'm weeping. And I remember a friend of mine. There was two things that happened, because it's the first time I was exposed to a third world country in abject poverty. And I remember I was a young man, married, 2 kids, living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath townhouse, and driving a beat up car that my parents gave me, and thinking, gosh, my life is so tough, and this is not fair, and I got it so rough. And I remember coming back, and a friend of mine said, what was it like? And I said, I'll tell you what, 2 things. One, I'll never doubt the existence of God again. You can drive bamboo under my fingernails. You can torture me. There's no way. I'll never deny him in my life because I've just seen him in a way that I've never experienced before. And I said, number two, I'll never complain about my life ever again because I live like a king. Even then, making $20,000 a year and living in, we had no furniture. We had a beanbag, but it just changed. Going on missions and seeing God move in that way changed my life. So when I come here, because I just turned 60 this year, and it's like, okay, what do I want to do with my life in this last? I mean, I don't know. I'm not dying, but I'm sad. I'm kind of on my last chunk of the next 10, 15 years. Who do I want to be? And what do I want to work on? And so projects like this are the type that I want to promote and work on because these are projects that are going to change people's lives. These are projects that are going to inspire people. Hopefully people want to come volunteer after seeing the show, because this is one of those places where the community is real. The walk with Jesus is real. It's not, like when we started talking about making this show, I wasn't set out to make a quote unquote Christian TV show because I never ask anybody about their faith or their walk. It just comes out through who they are and how they talk and how they share their life on board. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah. So it's changed my life. It's reaffirmed a lot of things. I'll say that.
I love that. I love that testimony. Excuse me. And I love the fact that you see life differently now, especially as we get older. You appreciate those little things and appreciate more. And you say, okay, Lord, the value of what you can bring. This story, I think, like you said, they bring hope and healing. That's what they do on the ship. But watching it, it does that too. And it touches lives that way too. It ministers to
watch all
something.
10 episodes.
I haven't watched all 10. But I did watch several. It makes me want to volunteer though, so I think that would be kind of fun to reach out and minister to and pray for people. And, if we can make sure that's okay with Capernaum Studios and with Faith on Film, then maybe I can go over there. But what about and do the show from there? That's what we should do. Okay, Isaac, we got to get in the budget. That's what we should do. Okay, one other question. Is there a favorite part of the ship? Is there somewhere like you like to go and you like to take people when they come visit?
I always like going up on the bridge just because it's cool. But there's a place on this bridge, they call it Monkey Island. I don't know why it got that name. I need to find that out. But it's the observation deck up at the very top of the ship. And when the sun sets here, because you're over in the port, it's absolutely beautiful. And you've got the kind of the city and then kind of the mountainous area behind the city. And I like to go up there as the sun's going down usually. And I've done a lot of, because I fly a lot of drones for this show. I've done a lot of drone work during that time,
Yeah. See, I love that. So now if we see it in the show, we'll know that that's your favorite part of the place to go.
Yeah, see that. Yeah, you see that spot quite a bit. And yeah.
And how does your family
where a
grow?
lot of people go to see. Pardon me?
Sorry, is your family with you then on the ship as well? Or
Not on this trip. In Sierra Leone, my wife's going to come with me because she loves being on the ship, and she loves to volunteer. And so there's a part of the day called veranda time, and you'll see it in the show. There's an area in the back of the ship they call the veranda. It's on deck 4, and so the patients who are in recovery will go out there and just to get some fresh air. And all the I shouldn't say all, but a lot of the volunteers will come down during that time and just, hang out with the patients, talk to them, pray with them. And real friendships and bonds are made during that time. And my wife loves that time. So she'll probably every day go down there and hang out with patients and cut hair on the other times.
I love that she's doing that. Okay, where can people see this series and how can they keep connected to you and what you guys are doing and pray for you if there's any prayer needs?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, angel.com, of course, is where it's going to be exclusively on SVOD. And that comes out June 18th in 2025. I believe the first 3 episodes will be free. And then if you want to see the other 7, then there's a subscription that's part of it. But then from there, like I say, it'll grow eventually into the AVOD and broadcast and so on. Yeah. But prayer for us. We're always, one of my team members prayed today, and it's all about, I'm trying to think of how to say this right. It's like, God, what do you want with this thing? Because I have my ideas, I have a vision and all of that. And sometimes I can get in the way, so it's like to to be aware, to see the opportunities, and to really, build something that's going to change lives. That's really what it's about.
Okay. And is there a way people can get in touch with you? Is there a website or something?
Facebook's the best way.
Okay, I'm just like follow you or see what you're doing. Okay. All right. Well,
I post quite a bit
great.
there.
Thank you for coming to us all the way from Africa. Thank you. This is exciting having you on the ship and having you part. And listen, you don't have to keep asking for years to come back on. If there's something exciting, we'll have you back on talking about it. So let us know if we need to, highlight or focus something, even while you're filming season 2. I think I'd love to have a behind the scenes look. If you can show us a little peek of what you're filming, let us know that. We can keep in touch.
We could do that. We could set up a another one where I can walk you around the ship and show you different areas of the ship.
Would love that.
Cool.
I would love that. All right, let's do it. Thank you, Tracy, again for being with us, and congratulations on Mercy Ships on Angel's website.
Once again, Holly, another great interview that you did.
Wasn't he wonderful?
Yeah.
Tracy's so good and so interesting.
I'm glad you
So interesting when he's doing it. Yeah, so interesting he's on the ships. I wanted to come back for the second season and third.
Yeah.
Hey, I think I've heard something interesting. Zachary Levi, who did Shazam, he's the star of Shazam and other films. He is building $100 million studio outside of Austin, and he's a Christian. So the exciting thing is, it's going to welcome families. Families can go stay there. They can see movies being made. They can be part of it. It's basically going to be kind of like a theme park, but not necessarily rides, but a movie studio. I think that's exciting to see what's coming to Texas, what's leaving California. They're not doing well there, and even other places. Film is coming to Texas, and with the incentives that are changing over in September, we're going to see more and more films being done here. I'm excited about that.
Wow. So when God moved me out of California to Texas and then moved you out of California to Texas, must not have been a coincidence. I think we're here for a purpose, aren't we?
We were praying that he would have a purpose in our lives and put us somewhere, and he did. You and me brought us here, and I'm excited to see it, because it's going to bring revenue in and a whole new, for families. Christian, are you kidding? Down the right way, I'm sure. It'll be exciting.
You know what? I just was talking to a friend yesterday who was wondering if he should be moving either to Florida or Texas or Atlanta, because he's in the movie industry and he wants to be where it's at. And I was saying, well, Texas would be a good place. And you know what? I think this will convince him to maybe move to Texas.
Yeah, and there's proof. I mean, you've already got the plans drawn out. It's there. It's not like he's saying, oh, I want to do it. He's going to do it. He's maybe already started. So this is exciting.
Oh, I can't wait. This will be awesome. There lots going on here in Texas, and I'm so glad we are part of it, Holly.
Yes. Faith on Film. Thanks everyone for watching. We so appreciate your watching us. We appreciate our sponsors, the Prem Studios, and
Encourage TV. They're great sponsors.
That's right. That's
all right, folks. We'll see you next week.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.